you've probably heard of the Prime Minister and Houses of Parliament, where big decisions are made about our lives. Well, did you know there's also a youth parliament where 11 to 18-year-olds have their say on issues that affect them? Or there was, until it was paused earlier this year. Ricky met two young politicians to find out how it's getting back on track.
The UK Parliament. This is where politicians come to make laws and to have debates about how our country is run. But did you know it isn't just adults that get a say here?
I call Laura and Omar to come.
The UK also has a youth parliament where kids get to take charge.
I would like to welcome you to the House of Commons and to the UK Youth Parliament.
Today I've come to meet two of its newest members here in Westminster.
Hi, Ricky.
Hi. Big day today. Should we get started?
Yeah.
Go on.
So Shalom, Mohammed Omar, thank you for chatting to us. We're standing in front of a really famous building, aren't we?
Yeah.
And you're both very passionate about what this building does and what it represents. Why?
I've always been really passionate about politics and debate because ever since I was young, I've loved trying to get my voice across to other people.
I wanted to get young people's voices heard. I wasn't really doing anything like contributing to society, so I thought coming here, being Youth MP, would be a good way to get my voice across and other young people's.
Every 2 years, hundreds of young people aged 11 to 18 are elected to the UK's Youth Parliament. We even get to meet inside the House of Commons to talk about some of the issues that affect young people the most.
Our job is to make sure politicians listen to the views of young people from all across the country.
But earlier this year, after hundreds of new members of Youth Parliament were elected, the charity that looks after the Youth Parliament shut down unexpectedly, leaving the whole scheme without anyone to run it. This comes at a time when 4 in 5 kids feel that politicians aren't listening to them, and only 10% of teenagers feel that they can influence the issues that they care about the most. So I went with Shalom and Mohammed Omar to meet the man in charge and find out what's going on.
Firstly, Stuart, I would like to ask, why has Youth Parliament been on a pause?
We had the British Youth Council that was running the Youth Parliament, and sadly they got into some financial difficulties, and it meant that they could no longer run it. But we felt that the programme was so important, you know, we are absolutely committed to it, that we've been working really hard to try and do everything we can to get this year's programme up and running again.
How about next year? Who's going to fund next year?
So our immediate priority was to get this year secure, and then what we're going to do is sort of through the summer and the autumn, we're going to do some sort of work, you know, engaging with young people, understanding what they like about the programme, what they think their priorities are.
Were you worried at any point? Did you feel a bit distressed?
I was definitely quite worried because we'd only been elected properly in early March, and it was I think the week after that, or maybe the week after that, where we found out that the British Youth Council was being shut down, and this was slightly disheartening because after all our hard work we didn't know whether or not we would still be able to do our role as youth MPs.
And it was exactly stories like yours that absolutely convinced me we had to work really hard and really quickly to get a resolution to this, because I was really conscious of the fact that, you know, putting yourself up for election is a massive step, but to get elected is just a huge achievement, and I didn't want that to be for nothing.
We'll be keeping an eye on the situation to make sure these young politicians are back in Parliament soon, speaking up for kids across the UK.